It's gratifying to be able to continue to offer the broad Jewish community our OU Kosher programs, specifically the very excellent and useful OU Kosher DVDs that have elicited so much positive feedback from individual schools, communities, rabbis, mechanchim, and home users. Today it's a double thrill to be able to be at our children's home in my daughter's kitchen to present Rabbi Yosef Eisen, a long-time OU Kosher Rabbinic Coordinator, currently serving as the Rabbinic Administrator of the Vaad of the Five Towns in Long Island, New York. Rabbi Eisen is considered a worldwide renowned expert on checking vegetables, who has worked closely with the OU Kosher experts, Rabbi Lenny Steinberg, Rabbi David Bistritzer, and the OU Poskim. I am sure that the presentation brought from Woodmere, New York today will enhance the kashrus of thousands upon thousands of Jewish homes. V'hoya zeh sechorenu, and may this be our collective reward.
It is my privilege to be here with you today to share with you some very practical information on how to use your produce most effectively in a way where you could be assured that what you're eating is without any question 100% free from any kashrus issues. But before we begin our actual demonstration, I'd just like to extend a very heartfelt thanks to the Ribbono Shel Olam for allowing me to be part of this wonderful endeavor. And also at the same time, I'd like to extend a very gracious thank you to the hostess, Mrs. Zahava Farbman, the daughter of Rabbi Elio Safran of the OU, who really is the force and the great innovator behind these wonderful DVDs, bringing such a wealth of information to the kashrus world. And may he continue, together with the OU, to be Marbitz Torah of Hakashrus in Klal Yisrael for many years. The OU are the innovators of this particular area, as well as so many other areas of kashrus, in putting together the tremendous amount of information about the world of produce. They were the first ones more than 10 years ago to invest into a program which actually monitored different produce in 4 different regions of the country, in the West Coast, in California, in Florida, in New Jersey, and in New York, over a 2-year period of correlating information about so many different types of produce, as we will see today in the presentation that's being brought to you. And they are the ones that have stood as the benchmark of the standard of Bedikas Yerokos, of vegetable inspection. In addition to this great endeavor that the OU took upon themselves years back, they continue to correlate updated information brought to them by the individuals in the field, the mashgichim in the field, who are in constant contact with their OU food service department, which allows the OU to be at the forefront in constantly updating the information, the methods, and perhaps new discoveries, as we will discuss in this presentation, about different produce. Now that we've finished the brief introduction, let's now begin seeing the DVD presented by the OU on how to check your vegetables in your own home. Here we are in your kitchen. We're going to talk about 4 basic categories of produce. The first being leafy vegetables. Now, many people have asked, what is the difference between today's vegetables, which seem to be an issue of insect infestation, whereas 10 years ago, 20 years ago, this seemed not to be a concern among religious people? The answer to this is the advent of the ban of DDT, which was banned by the government years back because of the high level of carcinogens, and therefore the spraying of these insecticides have been very severely limited, and the insects now have a new haven, a new home. The difference between the vegetables that you are now viewing on this counter, which is the green leaf lettuce, the romaine, the red leaf of course being marked by the tips being red, and your Napa, otherwise known as Chinese lettuce. These are your 4 open leaf lettuces. There are others as well that are not being viewed here. Butter lettuce, bib lettuce. In contrast to the 2 remaining produce items, which is iceberg lettuce, a well-known staple in people's homes, and cabbage. These 2 items are quite different in the way they grow. As you could see, they grow as a ball. It gives the insects less of an opportunity to jump in, whereas an open leaf lettuce, such as a green leaf lettuce, as you see, it doesn't even close when harvested. The insects therefore have an opportunity to the very end, until it's removed from the ground and becomes the bounty brought to your home, can have the opportunity of insects migrating from the soil, going into the very inner portions of the lettuce, such as this aphid that you are viewing now, right in midst of the lettuce towards the inner portion. This holds true with romaine lettuce, which grows as an open flower to the very end. This is true of red leaf, as you could see very close, a cousin to the green leaf. And even the Napa, which is a little bit tighter, does grow in an open manner until it is harvested. While, as we said before, the ball produce just tighten up and give a less of a window of an opportunity for the insects. So now let's see how to properly prepare and check these delicious items that make up the wonderful salads that we so enjoy. We begin, step 1. We remove the base from the leaves. We place them in a pan 9 by 13. We fill up the pan with water, and of course we use the size of the pan which will accommodate the amount that you're using. The most important part of filling this pan with water is that when we finally put the leaves into the water, the leaves should have enough room in the water where they can be submerged under the water and be allowed to sit there in the soapy solution we're about to put into the water, and be allowed to just shed the foreign matter that might be on the leaves. This is a certified soapy solution, or something similar could be used. We place into the pan of water this solution. We have to place enough to make the water just feel soapy, feel a little bit greasy, then we proceed to place the leaves into the water. As such, submerging the leaves into the water and let it sit there for 3 to 5 minutes. As you'll notice, there are not too many suds that are caused by this soapy solution. It's just enough to allow whatever foreign material might have been stuck to the leaves to just shed. After we have allowed this to soak, we are ready now for the next very crucial step in the process. We take each individual leaf while close to a source of running water, which should have a powerful stream. We take each leaf. Notice that the contour of the green leaf, and this holds true to the red leaf and to the Romain as well, are very full of folds and crevices. These folds and crevices are the perfect place for the insects, for the thrips, for the aphids to just seek a haven, a very comfortable residence until they are sent down to the drain of your sink. You take the leaf and, while holding the leaf firmly, place it under a stream of water with some strong pressure and begin rinsing from top to bottom. While holding the leaf, you're spreading out all the folds, all the crevices, and then you're turning around the leaf and doing the same for the next side as well. And this process is repeated for each leaf. Now, as an important just fact to preserve your lettuce, use water that's lukewarm or a bit on the cold side, but certainly not warm water that could destroy the texture and the quality of the produce. This is repeated for the entire pan of product, assuring that all the soapy solution has been rinsed off and removing anything which could have possibly been adhering to the surface of the leaf. The same process would be used for your Romain, rinsing thoroughly. Also, a practical piece of information while you're rinsing, to take your fingers and gently just glide the water over the leaf, spreading out all the folds and crevices. This should also be done to all the open leaf lettuces that you might want to use, as we said, the red leaf, the butter, the bib. However, something which I believe is an excellent recommendation for those that are avid admirers of romaine lettuce, a very healthy, tasty item that you use in your salads, the better choice than using a whole head of romaine is to use a romaine heart. Romaine hearts are a premium product, a product that the companies care very much to produce something as clean as they can get it. So therefore it comes to you higher priced, but a much cleaner product. What you do with the romaine lettuce is you follow the same steps as we just saw. The soaking, the agitation, the rinsing, the even checking, but there's an additional guarantee that once you've finished following those steps carefully, you will not find any insects at all in a romaine heart. Now let's go to lettuce and cabbage. We are now holding a ball ahead of iceberg lettuce. The first thing that we do is just to remove the core. We could slice it in half or break it. Of course, you are going to discard the outer leaves that are not usable. And now we are going to fill the pan with the layers of iceberg lettuce. Once again, you're going to be using the size pan to be able to accommodate the amount of your desired product being used, allowing the water and the soapy solution to get into all the folds and crevices. The procedure is the same. You allow the 3 to 5 minute soaking time, and then we continue with the same process. Now 3 minutes later, we take each leaf, run it underwater, expanding the leaf itself, exposing the folds and crevices, gently rubbing your fingers, gliding the water along the surface of the leaf. Some of the leaves of lettuce, such as this, where there are actually doubled and sometimes tripled over areas, open, even turn it inside out. So this way you expose the surface, you open the fold entirely, you place it under the water, you go from top to bottom, you turn around and do the same for the reverse side, and you repeat this process until the leaves have been all washed. Now we go to the last of the items seen on the counter. The cabbage. Cabbage is split open. It could be quartered. And with the cabbage, we have a very waxy texture. This allows the cabbage to be washed off easily. The grip of the insect, the thrips, which you could see on this leaf when we turn around the leaf. We remove the leaves. We take off 3 or 4 layers of each section of the cabbage until we reach the white part of the cabbage, which generally does not have insects. You go as far as the white. Sometimes the white is seen after peeling 4 layers. Sometimes the white, in such a case, is seen after 5 layers, where you're now left with a completely white cabbage. You are to take your cabbage, we rinse it off. If there are any folds such as these, we will expose the folds. We avoid using the soapy solution. With cabbage, we avoid using the soaking method, We only need to just remove the thrips which do not have a grip onto the surface and will easily come off by rinsing it with a strong stream. And that is just continued with the 4 or 5 layers. When you come across a leaf with the fold, we open up the fold, or it sometimes can rip. We open the fold, we wash, and then we are finished. One last word with a lettuce, as we said before, called Napa or Chinese lettuce. It's a lettuce which can be a little bit difficult to wash and check because it has a lot of black surfaces which can appear as if it looks like an insect. However, the very telltale way to determine whether this is an insect or not is merely to take your finger, your nail, and to scrape. You see it's still there. That means it's part of the fiber of the leaf. And with Napa, also which has the cabbage texture, we bring it over and we rinse every leaf. We make sure to spread out the folds and crevices. And we repeat until we are finished. Sometimes, in an unusual circumstance, we come across in Napa such an instance of discovering a worm, which is certainly visible to the eye. You just merely have to remove the leaf and just be a little more focused to see if that worm has made its way and how deep the holes are apparent. And then the rest of the Napa could just be washed in the method described. Now for the final step. We've taken you through the soaking. We've taken you through the agitation in the water. We've taken you through the rinsing, opening up all folds and crevices. Now we need to do the last step, the visual inspection. What are we looking for? We're looking for what we saw before on the pre-wash. We're looking for those thrips. We're looking for those aphids. And we're going to be able to spot them only through the following examination. We're going to go to the window. We're going to take the leaves and we're going to begin examining them. We're going to examine the leaves by opening them up, exposing the folds and crevices again, and we're going to pick up our hands and we're going to look up, have the light shine on the leaf. We're going to look at the leaf. We'll be able to use either your window, we'll use some overhead lighting, perhaps an under-counter light in your kitchen. We're going to look on both sides, opening up the leaves, opening up the folds, the crevices. But there's a much simpler way. Something which will save you time, effort, very effective, but not a necessity. And that is the use of the light box. Something which we see similar over here in front of us. This light box, what it does, it allows you to place the leaf on top of it and have the illumination come under the leaf, which will expose and illuminate anything and everything on the leaf. Now, this particular item that we see in front of us is a commercial light box. There's something much more home-friendly called the bug checker available at your local Judaica store, that's easy to store, that's not only used by plugging in, it's battery operated as well. You could place your lettuce on top of that bug checker. You could open up the folds, look at it, examine it carefully, turn it over to the next side, and do the same. This will allow all your leafy vegetables, your green leaf, your Romain, your red leaf, your Napa, to all be examined quickly, easily. A wonderful way and an easy method to doing the final step of checking your leaves. Now that you've finished your final step, you're ready to take your lettuces, cut them up, and enjoy your salads.